The Hindu response to all these serious philosophic challenges is very positive, very correct. It's not frightened by them, it likes it. This is the strength of Hindu religion. That's why when it comes to philosophic challenges or debates, Hinduism doesn't collapse, doesn't use excuses. It comes back in a very positive, very strong response. This is the response of the Hindu tradition. It says, you see, God can never be a matter of belief. God can also not be a matter of intellectual acceptance. It means I accept God, I think about it and yes, I can accept it. God is much more intense, much more difficult and much more subtle than your ability to grasp. So what do you mean by all that? Let me show you. We say all these arguments you offered have not given any conclusive evidence about God. Means conclusion, yes, definite, yes or no. Every argument we offer to try and prove or disprove God seems to fall short. You not disproved God, but you disproved the way you are defining God, that God is almighty and all-knowing. That is being challenged. But you not kind of undermine the whole idea. So you defied the way God is defined, that we understand, but you not disproved God, just as you not proved God either. But Hindus say you will never be able to prove or disprove God through intellectual gymnastics. This is not running away from challenge. He says it will always be impossible to grab God with your intellect. You say, I want to grab Him, my intelligence, conclusive evidence of God. Hindus say you will never do that. Because your ability to understand and use your intellectual capacity is not enough for you to be able to grab God. You will not do it, thankfully. Otherwise, God becomes a little lapdog. Say, hello, God, come here. It becomes a lapdog of your intellect. It is much more subtle than your intellect. So it's not saying it is irrational. It doesn't like the word irrational. It says your ability to rationalize falls short of the target. So you say, where is the proof of God? This is the answer from the Hindu tradition. They say the proof of God is not in this intellectual gymnastic, cosmological, teleological, miracle. No, say the only proof of God the Hindus accept. See, the power is your own experience. Just as I can see this and I don't need anybody else to prove that this bag exists in front, I see it. In the same way, say Hindus, it is possible to come face to face with this concept that we call God. Unless you experience God for yourself, you can always say, I am not sure. I need to see. Look, in other religions they say, believe in God and die and everything will work out for you. The Hindu religion says, no. Belief is just the starting point of your religious journey. It's just the beginning. You are beginning your search, so you have a belief system. Otherwise, you can't start your journey. But once you start your journey, it doesn't stay just believe and die. That's terrible. It says, you must take belief to its conclusion. You must be able to actually experience God for yourself, not your prophet, not your scripture is written in the books, in the Bhagavad Gita. Good for Bhagavad Gita. Unless I see God face to face myself, or experience this thing called spirit, or Brahman or Atman myself, I will not believe it. The Hindu said, be like that. Be tough on yourself. So what is the Hindu conclusion? He said the only proof of God the Hindus accept is not through this intellectual gymnastics. He said it in fact agrees that this intellectual gymnastics will fall short of the target, will never prove or disprove God. It agrees with that. So it agrees with the challenges. He's saying because God is much more severe and stronger than your intellectual capacities, it will fail. You won't be able to grab Him with your intellect. It's not because His weakness, this is His strength. Only proof of God the Hindus accept is first an experience. So we go from the idea of a belief system, Shraddha, to the idea of Sakshatkar, first-hand encounter. You've seen this film, Encounter of the Third Kind, the alien coming or something. This is called Encounter of the First Kind. You, first-hand, must see God face to face. Unless you see God for yourself, you can never be absolutely sure about it. This is the conclusion of the religion. Sakshatkar, first-hand experience of God is the only proof of God. And when you tell anybody, suppose you talk to an atheist, a humanist, and you say that, look, this is what we are insisting. We are saying that belief system is just a starting point. I have Shraddha and belief in God. You must take it to its conclusion. I must come face to face with this thing called Atman or Brahman or Vishnu or Shiva or Mother Goddess. I must encounter her first-hand. Then I can be sure about God. Otherwise, every attempt I make will fall short of the target. We agree. So, suppose you say, okay, that sounds good, but I haven't seen God. So what is the attitude? Look at the mature Hindu attitude. Again, I'm using Swami Vivekananda's teaching. He said, always be honest with yourself and say, I have not come face to face with God. So at best I can be an agnostic. Look, Hinduism allows you to be an agnostic. So until I see God, I am an agnostic. I don't know. But I am going to keep my eyes open because I think there is something to it, and I am going to explore this until I come face to face with it. When I come face to it, then I say, I know, I am sure. This is the crucial test. So the source of authority of Hindu religion is not some books. It is individuals who say, I have come face to face with God. God is a matter of experience for me. And these are the special grand personalities of the Hindu religion. And the term we have defined in your M module, the founders or the proponents of Hindu religion, the title we give them is Rishi. Rishi means first-hand encounters, people who see God, who are able to experience God for themselves. And got hundreds of them, thousands of them throughout the ages, not only in 5,000 years ago, but even in recent times you get personal. I say, God is not a matter of book learning for me, not a matter of intellectual acceptance. Yes, I thought about it, yes, it must be there. Actually, I face Him, I see Him face to face. People like that are the only way you can say these are the closest people who are talking about God, not matter of intelligence and, oh yes, let's clever Pandit, I can work it out. It doesn't work. You need to see God for yourself, to be charged up. This is the only proof of God the Hindus accept. First-hand experience. See how logical we are and how honest we are. So we are saying until you see God, be agnostic, say I don't know. Be honest. Because the intelligent argument I offered seemed to kind of fall short. And I recognize that and I say, this is not good enough. I need to face God. And see, when you look at your own tradition, you will find many individuals in the recent past who come face to face with God. Suppose you come across the story of Mira or Tukaram or various saints from South India, and they claim first-hand experience. They are the fountainhead, the source of religion, because they are coming face to face with this reality called God. And that is where you go down to the fountainhead, the heart of religion, to discover whether God is for real or not for real. So mere just gymnastics, that's why we are doing gymnastics. I've just done some gymnastics with you and showed you how I can do somersaults and everything. And you enjoy that because you say, yeah, that's clever. Like all this causation, teleology seems to fall short. It's good it falls short. Otherwise, God will be captured with intelligence. In that case, intelligence is bigger than your God now. He caught it. See? It can never do that. So we are not frightened by intelligence. We are saying it will deliberately not be caught because it's much more subtle. It is much more dramatic in first hand. You see God. You don't need to work on it and drink cups of coffee and work it out. You just enjoy God. You come face to face. Aim of Hindu life is not to believe in God, but to see God. That is the only proof of God we accept.